can we stop the doom and gloom on the dollar? Statements like, it's not going to save our dollar. Like, let's clear up some misconceptions on the dollar by showing you the history of the dollar over the last few years. More proof that Justin Trudeau is not the reason we have high home prices. And we need to get our shit together because our premiers and our federal government are working in opposite directions on the conservative side. First, let me tackle this. Crude is up 10%, but the dollar is not. It doesn't move the same amount. Let's just look back here. That's 2021. That's before oil had hit its peak. Oil was increasing in value. The dollar was increasing in value. It wasn't increasing at the same rate. It doesn't do that. And then we've been attacking our dollar's value since 2021. And remember, 2022 is when oil prices hit their peak. Now, again, I hate coincidences, right? This happened again over the weekend. It happened a few weeks ago. Now, in the short view, when you look over 1 week, it shows as a big gain. But when you zoom out, it shows as a big loss, like a sell-off. I'm thinking it's intentional. This is now going on 4 years of downward decline, but it's not a huge downward decline. It's again in the same range. And this is where I think that Canadians really need to figure out what it is that they really want. Because you should know, the Prime Minister doesn't control the dollar, right? And people like to look back and say, well, dollar was on par under Harper, but that wasn't Harper's doing. If anything, it was more Mark Carney's doing, and Mark Carney is a potential leader for Canada, and Conservatives don't want him because he's a WEF puppet, even though Pierre Poilievre is an IDU puppet. Speaking of Pierre Poilievre, he did say something quite accurate. He said that Canadian oil is underpriced because we are in a captive market. We're not selling it on the open market to the world. We're selling pretty much all of it to the U.S. So we need to change that. Except Danielle Smith doesn't want to change that. She wants to keep on selling that oil to the U.S. I'd say pick a side, but they're on the same side. Speaking of Mark Carney and being on the same side, Chrystia Freeland apparently is going to announce a bid to be the PM. Chrystia Freeland, who quit because Justin Trudeau wanted Mark Carney to be the finance minister instead of her. Do I think she gives Liberals the best chance of winning? No. I think she's pissed off too many people with her out-of-touch comments, like the Disney Plus and the Vibe session. Listen, I don't dislike Chrystia Freeland. I think that during Trump's first presidency, I think she did a fantastic job. But as of late, she has said some things that just put her in a bad light. Speaking of being put in a bad light, BMO says it's a long way home for home prices. In other words, it's going to be a while before we get back to those 2022 prices. And I agree. It's not going to be an easy road back. 2025 will be a good year. It won't be that good. Could we get back to 2022 prices under Pierre Poilievre? Oh, yeah, that's quite possible. I wonder if homes get that expensive under Pierre Poilievre, will people still blame Justin Trudeau? And apparently Justin Trudeau made home prices really expensive in Spain. Why is Spain considering a 100% tax on homes bought by non-EU residents? They are trying to deal with housing affordability and high rents. It's very interesting. Sounds really familiar. And whereas we're blaming Justin Trudeau, they're blaming non-EU citizens. But as you might imagine with a city that's, like 1,000 years old, it's been there for a while. They're kind of hitting their capacity. Like Madrid doesn't have many high-rise buildings. There's only so many places for people to go. And as is the case with Toronto or Vancouver or any other major urban centers, people want to go to Spanish cities like Barcelona, like Madrid, so on and so forth, because that's where there's the most opportunity. They also happen to be tourist locations. And if you've seen the series from Millennial Moron about buying a European castle or a private island, so on and so forth, the reality is this, is places like buttfuck nowhere Spain are beautiful, but nobody wants to live there. The same is true of buttfuck nowhere France and buttfuck nowhere Italy. That's why Italy is paying people to go to locations like this. Now this is Spain, but locations like this are all over Europe. They look nice, but you're not commuting to work from anything like this. So, Justin Trudeau must have a whole bunch of power if he made homes expensive in Spain as well as Canada. Or maybe you've been misled. And again, I'm saying this just so you don't get your hopes up. You have to know how the system works. Because we're going to have a big change to the system. And it's quite likely that the things that are going to change the most are the things you care about the least.